You're watching NewsX and you're watching Insight on NewsX. We'll try and get an insight into how the fringe in Karnataka this time, but it's not specific to Karnataka, it's all over the country, how the fringe has managed to carve such a niche outside for themselves in India that they cannot be reined in by anyone seemingly. Big questions that I've prepared as I see them tonight on Insight. We'll put them up right across on the screen right away, and then we'll play out the story that we are going to. In fact, we could do that right now. We'll take a look at the story, then we'll come back, we'll talk to our guests, and we'll talk about what happened when Sathyaraj finally apologized for his 9-year-old remark. Take a look at the story and the developments of the day.
After backlash over his remarks, actor Sathyaraj finally succumbed to pressure from the fringe groups.
நானும் ஒருவன் அதற்கு எதிர்வினையாக என்னுடைய கொடும்பாதி உருவ பொம்மைகள் கர்நாடகாவில் எரிக்கப்பட்டன. அதே வேளையில் கர்நாடகாவில் நடைபெற்ற ஆர்ப்பாட்டங்களில் கர்நாடகா திரைப்பட கலைஞர்களும் ஆவேசமாக பேசினார்கள்.
Sathyaraj had to issue apology over his remarks made 9 years ago.
His personal assistant is a Kannadiga who is there with him for the past 30 years, and he also elaborated on how he never hurt anyone's sentiments, and he is apologizing for the remarks that he made 9 years back. So clearly Sathyaraj has bowed down to the pressure from the fringe groups, but many activists talk about how these fringe groups always pick up on actors who are soft targets instead of restraining them.
But if that will serve the purpose still remains unclear.
ಈ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಸತ್ಯರಾಜ್ ಕ್ಷಮಾಪಣೆ ಕೇಳಲೇಬೇಕು.
Team Baahubali is hopeful of the movie's release on 28th April.
We are no way related to Mr. Sathyaraj's personal comments that have been reiterating again and again. I think we should see them completely apart.
Pro-Kannada groups had announced a shutdown in Karnataka to oppose release of Baahubali 2. But with no assurances by the Siddha government, the situation seemed out of control. The question now is, will the Siddha government still let the bullies beat Baahubali in Karnataka? Bureau Report, NewsX.
Insight asks these questions tonight. They should be on your screens in the next couple of seconds. Has the fringe in this country become too big to tame or too big to fail? Have they managed to carve out that niche for themselves? Blowhards like the men, women who usually lead such outfits, are they becoming too much to handle for the law in this country? That's question number 1 tonight on Insight. Question number 2 right there on your screens. Are apologies like these, coerced apologies, almost akin to successful extortion bids? We've seen this before, we've seen it happen again. Question number 3 tonight on Insight, a very important question. Is this another victory for outlaw vigilantes who think they're above the law and operate outside the purview of the law? Remember, they threatened to shut down Bangalore because of a particular view, and the police didn't say a word. Now, last question that I'm going to ask on Insight tonight: what prevented the police from acting on its own? Why didn't they take suo motu cognizance? If an organization is threatening to shut down a major metropolitan city in this country for whatever reason, shouldn't the police at least be cognizant of it? Those are the questions, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go across to our panel. Sathyaraj is joining me tonight from Chennai, and we'll go straight across to him first. Is this a victory, Mr. Rajsekharan, for fringe groups everywhere, for vigilantes who think they can operate beyond the law? Admit it. The argument here is that emotions were hurt, and I don't want to be insensitive right now, but clearly they were violating the letter of the law when they say they'll shut down Bangalore because they didn't agree with the view of a movie star. And why now?
Athar, you rightly pointed out that these fringe groups are becoming very active throughout the nation, and they are taking each and every issue in their hands, and not only taking the state and the people for ransom, and they are also threatening every next issue in the state, be it Karnataka, be it Maharashtra, be it UP, be it Tamil Nadu. I mean, nobody is an exception. Where we are heading to, in a people's democracy, See, a movie is being taken for an entertainment purpose. You cannot attribute your own agendas in creating confusion, not only in the state, also threatening every next actor and every next film, which is not healthy for the future generation. So these kind of things should not be entertained by anybody.
Since our other guests have not joined us right now, let me play devil's advocate for one moment. The argument given here by not just Vital Nagaraj, who heads one of those organizations that was opposing the release, but also others, is that emotions were hurt. And it doesn't really matter when he said it, as long as he said it. And the other explanation is the video clip went viral just before the movie. Now, that could be the counter-argument here, that it doesn't really matter. The statements were derogatory. On the other hand, it clearly reeks of trying to milk an emotional issue, as the fringe usually does in all these cases. Which side of the debate are you on? Do you buy the argument that since emotions were hurt, even if the emotions of a certain a minority were hurt, or minority, of course, I'm talking about purely in terms of numbers here, Kannadigas, was it justified that these people threatened to hold up an entire city, kept an entire film to ransom? The cast and crew kept pleading that we had nothing to do with the statement, and a statement that was made 9 years ago. Do you think this is round one to the vigilantes, round one to those who don't really care about the law and only want to enforce agenda after agenda on unsuspected creative artists across the country?
Yes, you have answered your own question, Nathar, but I just want to highlight one important issue. See, I am not trying to score political brownie points for making this important matter. See, when there was a Cauvery issue was going in the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, and the Karnataka government and the people there, including Vital Nagaraj, burnt Tamil Nadu people's shop, and buses were burnt. Everything was happening. If I am right, and if you can also correct me if I am wrong. See, there was only one incident in Ramnad. Other than that, the whole Tamil Nadu was peaceful. All the Kannadiga institutions were allowed to function with the police security, and there was not even a single incident in the city of Madras. So this proves how responsible citizens we were when there was a very emotional issue running so high throughout the state. And of course, even Cauvery issue is emotional to Kannadigas and for Tamilians. But then also we kept calm.
T.S. Nagabharna joins us. He's a member of the CBSE, joins us from Bangalore. I just want Mr. Nagabharna to join the debate right now, because he's expressed his views on the channel and on the topic before, and he does to an extent support the call by Vital Nagaraj and others to stop the release of the movie. Let me ask you a straight, blunt question then, sir. If Mr. Nagaraj's demand was to have an apology, a coerced one I might add, from Sathyaraj, he got it. There is no other way now that Mr. Nagaraj or anyone else can stop or threaten to stop the release of the movie. Now, why haven't they come up with an answer now? Why don't they back off?
I think it is not one man's decision. There is a lot of people. There were 2,000 organizations coming together, and they have to take a decision. I think they will take a positive decision today. That's what I was thinking of. Because it is the history which tells that Kannadigas always take the moderate position whenever this type of controversies come. I wish they will accept this apology.
Mr. Nagabharna, do you consider this a victory today that Mr. Sathyaraj apologized? I'm not going to mince my words anymore. Do you think it's a victory today? And if it's a victory, who is it the victory for? Who wins today?
Now, what do you mean by victory? Whose victory?
You don't consider Sathyaraj's apology a victory for those Kannadiga protesters who were protesting and threatening to shut down Bangalore?
No, I don't consider this as a victory. It is I always accept this as a kind of understanding rather than a victory, because he understood what we wanted and what he was able to convince us, saying that yes, I do apologize for this. Might be it is done in emotion or whatever it is. It happens. It happens with any sensitive person.
But you don't think that
I don't think the victory of Kannadigas and victory of Sathyaraj.
Again, you think he's understood the position and acknowledged that sentiments were hurt. But the skeptic and the cynic in me refuses to die down. The skeptic in me says Mr. Sathyaraj was coerced, almost extorted, blackmailed, because livelihoods and profits of the entire cast and crew of the Baahubali movie, who had nothing to do with the statement or the controversy, were at stake. So Mr. Sathyaraj, being the bigger man, and because of money consideration and the livelihoods of so many connected to him, did the right thing. But he was pressurized. He was almost extorted. My question is, are these fringe vigilantes making this extortion business into a business now? They'll take any soft target, rake up what he or she had said 10 years ago, make a controversy out of it, threaten violence, and then get their way. Where is the law in all of this?
I will tell you one thing. If you are telling that there is extortion, X, Y, and Z, I don't accept that that sentiment as it is. Okay? One second. And think what went through the whole thing is, it is not the opposition that we have to oppose Baahubali, or we have to do that kind of opposition so that some blackmail has to be done. No, it is not like that.
No, but if the problem was only with Mr. Sathyaraj's comment and not Bahubali's crew, why not boycott Mr. Sathyaraj? Why boycott Baahubali? Baahubali does not equal Sathyaraj. He's a character in the movie. You are targeting an entire cast and crew because of one person's personal opinion. See, Rajsekhan wants to come in. Is this extortion? Like I said, I'm not going to mince my words tonight. Is this extortion? What Mr. Nagaraj is doing, what the MNS does, what the Shiva Sena does, what many other fringe groups have done in the past, all the Senas, all the Vahinis.
Athar, see, I'm not supporting
either
the MNS or Vatal Nagaraj, but I want to make one important point. All these actors who are making this public comment and getting emotional when they get a mic to speak in a public platform with all their co-actors, they talk all sorts of rubbish on the stage, in the public podium. So it's a lesson for everybody that they should do their job. If they want to be an actor, let them act, make money, live peacefully with their family and keep their mouth shut. Let them not make unwarranted comments and create unrest in the minds of the people in anywhere in the state. See, I'm not supporting.
No, I don't agree with that. See, I'm sorry, you lost me. You lost me when you said. No, I'm sorry, you lost me when you said that these people should keep to themselves and not express their opinion. You lost me there. No, absolutely not, sir. No, I don't agree. I do not agree. Why shouldn't people in public life have? No, why shouldn't they have the right to free speech? If a person feels politically, why should he or she be allowed to say what he or she means and face the consequences? If I say something tomorrow, I have to own up for it. You can't own my friends. You can't own my colleagues.
You.
I think
if you want to make public, you want free speech, you want to make public statements, you quit your job, you come to politics, enter politics, and you do whatever you want.
At this hour, because at least you can take this.
No, go ahead, Nagbarna.
At least you noticed this point today. At least you noticed this point now. That's there was an opposition, and that's why you brought all of us together to have a discussion now. Otherwise, there was no discussion. If it is on just Sathyaraj boycotting on any of the things, it could have been done as a simple thing. Since it is Baahubali, automatically everybody is alerted now. Let it be a lesson to everyone.
It's a coerced apology. It's not an apology Mr. Sathyaraj wanted to give. Baahubali team came under pressure. They were facing huge financial losses. They were facing the entire movie being banned in Karnataka or not being released. My question is, even if sentiments were hurt as Mr. Nagaraj claims, let me hypothetically agree that, okay, there were sentiments involved, Mr. Sathyaraj hurt sentiments. Fine. But why target the entire movie? Mr. Sathyaraj's comment has nothing to do with the movie, sir. And also, where does this stop? Tomorrow, if you say something and my sentiments get hurt, should I picket your house? Should I threaten to close down your house? Is that the law in this country? Mr. Nagaraj, answer that and then I'll go across to Rajsekar.
I have to be more responsible. I have to be more responsible. If I am putting up a public statement, if I am putting up in a public speech, if I am putting something which is hurting some X or Y or Z, I must be careful in handling those kind of things. I must not make those comments, basically.
See, Athar, see, I totally agree with you. All these actors can make free any comment. They have got this free speech to make any comment, but it should be a responsible comment. They should not make unruly comments and create unrest between two states and the two people from different states living peacefully. Sathyaraj is an actor. Of course, I welcome. He can make any comment, but if he wants to make money in films, let him do that and keep quiet. If he wants to make public statement, let him quit his job, enter politics, do service, and tell his points.
No,
you cannot write two horses at a time. You cannot act in a movie.
Isn't that a warped way of looking at things?
And on the other side,
do people who earn money not have a right to their political opinion, no matter how offensive it might be?
All the states.
No, one second, answer me this. Do people who earn lots of money working in the film industry... No, one second. Listen to the question. Listen to the question. Listen to the question.
No.
Listen to the question, sir. Do people who make lots of money in the film industry while making movies not have the right to political speech, no matter how offensive it might be to some individuals? The person can take responsibility. Why target the entire film? This has become a business, sir, and I'm telling you, this is not the first time. Vigilantes do this on a daily basis, and more often than not, the targets are creative artists, targets are soft targets. Bollywood has seen this almost day in and day out. I'm being joined now by Ira Trivedi. She's an author and a columnist. Ira, thank you for joining us. You were slightly late, and the part of the outrage of those, one second, the outrage, partly my outrage towards what has happened, and I call it a coerced apology, was because there were no speakers for what has happened. I was playing devil's advocate. Now that you're here, we would like your views on my central question. That being, are these vigilante outlaws getting the upper hand? Number two, are these vigilante fringe groups becoming too big to tame?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we saw that. I consider the anti-Romeo squads a vigilante group as well. So I think this is becoming somewhat of a trend that, you know, self-appointed vigilante groups, or even if they're appointed by the government, that there are people taking it into their hands. The government takes it into... The government takes it into their own hand to tame people. Who are they to tame people? You know, why should a movie be banned? Why should lovers not be allowed to love? Why should, you know, why shouldn't people eat what they want to eat? And if there's a law, then why do people, you know, why are people taking into their own hands to be these vigilantes? So I do think that it's extremely, extremely dangerous. And I'm seeing a huge rise in this all across self-appointed vigilante groups. I think it's a very dangerous situation that our country is getting into.
The argument that sentiments were hurt by that statement, some people consider that derogatory, even though it was made 9 years ago. How do you respond to that fact? When emotions are involved, when insecurities are involved, it seems in India, everything else goes out of the window, and the priority is to stop a riot, so to say.
No, absolutely. I mean, emotions are hurt, but, you know, everyone has different emotions. You know, we're an emotional country. Emotions are constantly hurt no matter what anyone does. There's always two sides of the coin. There's always people who are hurt and people who are happy. But it doesn't mean that you just start taking action, start banning things. You know, that's not an option. I think what we're doing now, the government just is banning everything. Let's ban this, let's ban that. Ban, you know, people are not, you're not allowed to eat what you want to eat. You're not allowed to watch what you want to watch. You're not allowed to love who you want to love. So this banning culture is very dangerous. It's an easy solution.
Okay.
It's an easy fix
All
for
right.
the government
So let me go
to
to
just
my
ban
other
something.
question then.
You know, this is not the way. This
Let me
is
go to my
not the
other
way to
question.
just ban things
I have
completely.
limited time, so I'm going to introduce Nisha Jamwal now, who's also joining us late. Just my luck, Nisha. All my guests are late today, but since you are here, let me ask you my central question. Two of them I already asked Ira Trivedi, and I've got a resounding answer on that. What prevented the police in Karnataka from taking cognizance of this particular case? Now, we can have the broader debate of vigilante groups and outlaws really being taken for granted here, but let me restrict myself to Karnataka. What prevented the police there from taking cognizance into the fact, the statement coming from Vatal Nagaraj, who threatened to shut down Bangalore unless an apology was rendered? Now, the apology has also been rendered, coerced, I might add, and they still haven't said a word on whether or not they let the movie release.
So I believe that, I tend to agree that people are becoming more and more intolerant and more cognizant of emotions. But coming back to the police, my conjecture would be that they sympathize with Vatal Nagaraj. And, what's happening is that, states are becoming like little countries. We are not looking at it holistically as one India. So the Cauvery issue has become a state issue where the police probably sympathizes and believes it's a Karnataka, nationalist statement, a state statement. And I tend to disagree. There was a vignette in Chak De where the protagonist says, why can't we think like one India? And the second point I want to make is burning an effigy, making things so extreme is extremely uncalled for, and the police must take action, because this is what tantamounts to the police not taking action on other atrocities committed. And fundamental rights can only be taken so far. You can't be burning effigies, become so emotional about issues, go to the streets, and have one person like Vatal Nagaraj acting like mafia in Karnataka.
Okay, so clearly we are going to now fire some tweets that are live tweets right now inside. This particular topic seems to have gotten some traction here. And clearly some of these tweeters, if that's a word, are from Karnataka. They're Kannadigas, and they're saying there should have been perhaps a better way to make Sathyaraj apologize if an apology was required, not attack the movie, not attack the livelihoods of all those connected to the movie. Very quickly, I'll take closing comments because I have limited time now. See Rajsekharan first, then I'll just try and rifle my way through my guest list. Go ahead, see Rajsekharan.
See, Athar, first and foremost, we are speaking about free speech, being intolerant, and the nation is getting intolerant. All that, keeping that aside, I mean, I don't want to go deep into it. The fact remains, all these actors have the right to make public statements, but it should be responsible statements. They should not create unrest in the minds of the people or in the citizens of any state.
It took 9 years for the unrest to come, sir. So please spare me the apologist nature of your statement. It took 9 years for the outrage to form, and that makes me suspicious. The cynic in me just rises up and says, this is all contrived, this is all a plan to milk the controversy.
No, I'll tell you.
I'm sorry, that's a personal view, but I have to give it to you. Anyway, we'll go across to Nagabharna for your closing comments, sir. The apology has come, coerced, whatever you want to call it. The apology is there. In black and white, he's given an oral apology. What is preventing or stopping Mr. Nagaraj from coming out and saying that, look, we got what we wanted. Now we have no enmity with you. Go ahead with your
I want to remind an incident. I want to remind an incident which happened when MGR was there, and he did Kanchi Talaivan, a film in which, in his dialogue, he somewhere tells about another king of Karnataka, Immadi Pulikeshi, some derogatory thing in the dialogue. And some of the writers and historians objected to that. And do you know, MGR apologized for that.
That's fine.
So that is how
but the
the harmony
dialogue was in the movie.
So it is like it is an understanding which has to come through.
Sir? Sathyaraj is not Baahubali. He's just a character in the movie.
That's what.
One of many actors.
That's what I'm telling. And here Sathyaraj commented in the public. Sathyaraj commented in the public.
No more time here. Ira Trivedi will try and end with Nisha if he can. Ira, what is the outcome going to be? Are we going to go from bad to worse in cases? One second. In cases where a vigilante mafia is...
Unfortunately, Athar...
Yes, Ira.
Unfortunately, Athar, we are going from bad to worse. And in the past 2 months alone, we've seen things going from bad to worse. One vigilante group after the other, they're cropping up. They're cropping up like mushrooms everywhere, you know? So I really feel like it's a bad situation. And the media and we as individuals all need to really speak out against it, do what we can because these are supported by the government, and that's not good at all. So I really do think that we're going to be a country in trouble. We're going to end up like North Korea if this is the situation that we're going through. So I really urge... Yes, I really urge individuals and the media, you know, by just talking about these issues and making people aware that this is no way to handle
back
things.
To basics. I have to end
creating
now.
a noise around is the first step.
The apology has come, Ira. I thank you for joining us, even though it was late. Thank you, Nisha Jamwal. I have no more time, so next time maybe. As well as Nagabharna and Rajsekharan. At the end, I'd just like to say, where are we going? We should perhaps reflect, think, and then introspect. As far as the movie is concerned, the apology is there, Mr. Nagaraj. 11 a.m. is when you're going to hold that press conference. We're going to hope that you come up with the right answer that we and the team of Baahubali are looking for. Thank you for joining us.